you ever wonder, while you were making the show, kind of how you would have held up for real if you were actually back there fighting the Second World War?
Yeah, probably not well.
Yeah, I mean, that's honest.
It's amazing. You know, I am every day to this day I'm struck by the fact that these were not professional warriors. These were mechanics and painters, and my grandfather served in the Pacific. He ran a deli. These were just regular, everyday people, car salesmen, who went and said, "Hey, here's a rifle. Go save the world." Literally that. And they had no idea when they were going to come back, if they were going to come back, but they did it. And that it's truly inspiring, And so I would hope that if we had a situation like that where the entire country had to go to war because we were attacked or something like that, that I would be able to do it. But seeing it firsthand, what these guys went through, boy, it seems like it's almost an impossible task, and I don't know how they made it.
Sir, coming across that airfield today, I've never been more scared in my entire life.
The man who isn't scared out here is either a liar or dead.
Now, although obviously you weren't going out to fight a war, it still seems pretty arduous, the actual filmmaking process. You were doing it for a long time, and certainly there are many shots of you looking completely exhausted, and I think that maybe part of that was for real and not just acting. Obviously, great performance as well. But I mean, did it help to be...
Well, I mean, certainly some of those things were, unavoidable. It was just like, we are really running across this airfield, 100 times. We're running miles and miles and miles doing this. And so certainly those moments were, we had a true life representation of what we were trying to show on screen. But, then there were the other parts of it, of course. There's the parts where, there's nothing that you can really do to prepare yourself to know what it feels like to have to kill somebody or to be killed. Those are kinds of things that you have to dig within yourself deep to kind of figure out a way to do it. But I mean, the conditions were very real. It was, if I didn't know any better, I would feel like we really were in a war, because the sounds were real, the explosions were real, the bullets were flying, the blood was spurting everywhere. We really felt like we were in the throes of it. We did.
Ship got hit by 2 kamikazes. 500 guys died. How can they do that? Fly themselves into a ship?
Emperor's God. Duty to God.
What kind of research did you do in the lead up to the shoot? Did you have much time? Did you have to do any training?
Yes, I mean, all of that. I have never been so prepared for a role, I don't feel like. One, you're talking about a real person here who wrote a memoir, so you have that, which was extremely helpful. I would bring it to set with me sometimes, and for really emotional scenes, I would read the passage that he wrote about it, and that would make me know exactly how I had to react to it and how I had to emote. And then naturally, yes, I got to meet his 2 sons and his wife and talk to them and get to know him through them. The boot camp obviously was a whole other can of worms, where we spent 10 days in the jungles. I lost 12 pounds in 10 days. I don't know the conversion, but that's a lot of weight.
That's a lot of weight.
And especially for someone like me who can't really afford to lose anything. But people were getting injured. One guy broke his collarbone. Broken ribs, busted up knees, heat exhaustion, dehydration. These things were happening every day. And that kind of training, though, although some of it was a bit overboard, I'd say, but some of it was really useful, because I'd never fired a rifle before in my life. I didn't know how to work I didn't even know what a mortar was. And then to have to, I have to look like a professional. I have to look like I actually do this for real and have studied this for years. And so those kinds of things, and getting into physical shape because it was so strenuous on set, and learning about the military, learning about how the Marines operated, the hierarchies, the strategies, the positions, things like that was extremely helpful.
You ain't supposed to write shit down, Gives the Japs valuable intel, they find it.
And it seems to have been received very well, certainly done very well at the Emmys, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
But in terms of speaking to real-life veterans, or, like you said, the family of the person who you portrayed, have you got any feedback from them having, the show being aired now?
Yes, well, I mean, to be honest with you, I think that the Sledges are too nice to tell me if they didn't like it anyway, but they certainly raved about it. Gene, his wife, and his son Henry were both extremely complimentary and positive. His other son John, though, hasn't seen it. He can't.
It's too difficult.
It's too difficult. He went to the premiere and had to leave at the opening credits because it just affected him so deeply, and he actually feels like he has a post-traumatic stress from living with his father his whole life and seeing the way his father was tortured by these things and the nightmares and living around that. He now feels like he carries that in himself, and to see what his father went through is too much for him, so he can't even watch it. But you know, the greatest compliments that I've received are from people who had fathers that served, because they come up to me. This happened multiple times. They said, you know, thank you for making this, because I now understand my father in a way that I never did before. There was always a disconnect. He couldn't talk to me in certain ways. He couldn't act with me in certain ways, and I never understood it because he never talked about this. But because of the show, I now understand more about my father, and like that. You know, that's why you do this kind of thing. You know, you as an actor, it's like, well, you know, it's kind of just a showy profession, but really, you know, you can affect people's lives in ways that you don't even imagine going into it. Something like that has really touched me.
Japanese are in the process of taking half of the world. Here is what they are not expecting. United States Marine Corps.
You've just graduated from film school, is that right? So what's the plan? To keep acting, to do behind the scenes, to direct, to write, to do everything, or?
That's the one. I'm kind of greedy, you know.
I do everything.
You know, I just can't. No one can hold me down. No, I just feel like I love making movies. I love being creative. I love being a part of the process. So to me, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if maybe on this project I'll direct it and write it. Maybe on the next one I'll write it and act in it, or I'll act and direct it, or just do one or any of them. It almost doesn't even matter to me. You know, I feel like of the things I enjoy, what I am innately the best at is acting. It's always come a bit easier for me. It's kind of a more natural thing. And so I know I'll always do that. But I hope to incorporate these other things as well at some point in my life.
And you've got quite a few great director mentors.
It's really true.
Not bad that you can...
No, I feel like I've learned a lot from them too. I made a short film in 2005 after I graduated, and I just remember thinking about all the directors I had worked with in the past and how they got through situations, and it helped me through my own experience.